निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै. Verse 70. आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. So, yadvat apaha samudram pravishanti, just as the waters as such, the apaha means is a plural, so waters. Anyway, samudram pravishanti, enters the ocean. What kind of a ocean? Apuryamanam, achala pratishtham, apuryamanam, full. Achala pratishtham, very calm. Na chalanam, achalam. So, so this ocean which is calm and full, to such a ocean all the waters, all the rivers enter. Tadvat, in the same manner, sarve kamaha yam purusham pravishanti. All these kamas, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, all the vishayas, all the sense objects enter into whom? This person, wise person. And still he is a full and complete. Then sashanti mapnoti, he is one, he attains peace. Nakamakami, not the seeker of the sense objects. This is what the meaning is. So in this verse, another example is given here, which is simpler one. Because to understand a previous verse, 4 comparisons were there, if you remember. Like Nisha. The Nisha and then the day and night. And then human being and then owl. So where owl, is sleeping, there where human being is awake. And where human being is sleeping, owl is awake. Naturally, owl awake, they are awake during the night. And they sleep during the day. So all these 4 things are given. But 4 things basically are there for comparison. So it's one kind of illustration which everything is given. So day is compared to Advaita Drashti, and then Nisha is compared to Dvaita Drashti. And well, human being means a wise person, and owl means an ignorant person. All this we have seen. So when human being means a wise person, he is awake. He is awake to this, he is aware of this Advaita Drashti. He has that Advaita Drashti, Advaita vision. And there this ignorant person are sleeping, means they are not aware of this. There is the Advaita Drashti. I mean, there is only one thing. There is nothing other than the self. To such a vision, they are sleeping. They are not aware of such a vision. And where these ignorant people are awake, like owls, Nisha, they are awake to this Dvaita Drashti. They are awake to this duality. They believe that duality is the real. Then our gentleman, our wise person, well, basically he sleeps. Means he considers that it as a superficial. He is not now this Dvaita Drashti, I mean this duality, he takes it as a superficial, that kind of a thing. So it was a bit terse verse. And they say Vyasacharya wanted to write this Mahabharatam, and there was this condition. He called this Vinayaka to be his scribe, a writer. And then he said, well, I will go on dictating and you should write. And Vinayaka got agreed, of course. But he said, I write very fast. And and I know shorthand also. Therefore, you should continuously dictate. So if you stop, then I will also stop writing and I will walk away. So this kind of a condition even Vinayaka has put to the Vyasacharya. So continuously you have to give me work, in short. So Vyasacharya and Vyasacharya's job is difficult because it is not a ready work. So he has to compose also and dictate also. So it is not already composed, right? And so Vyasacharya said, it seems that I will do it, don't worry. But I will put a condition also for you. So, but you should not write blindly. So often the stenographers, basically, and typists, they have, when they write, they have to do work fast. So they write in shorthand, etc. Then sometimes they don't think while writing at all. And it happens over one Swami that he was dictating some summary of some chapter, I think 5th chapter or something. And there he used, he called one person who was, good in shorthand, etc. And then he used to give a summary of every chapter, dictate every summary of a chapter. And then, it happens that in that 5th chapter, the word is there in enunciation, and it often comes. In that chapter, it comes often. So, and then, after that, he typed everything, that student, and gave it to that Swamiji. And then Swamiji found that in entire that 5th chapter summary, instead of a word renunciation, there was a word remuneration. And so renunciation gives moksha, instead remuneration gives moksha. So that also is correct in one way. Anyway, but what is the thing is, one person cannot think while he writes very speedily. So here, of course, Vyasacharya put a condition that you have to think, understand the meaning, and then write. So then Vyasacharya seems to have said that, you should not be like that. And when you write, you should understand the meaning of that verse and you write. So what Vyasacharya used to do, he used to compose and dictate. And if he wanted to think for some time, because those verses has to appear in his mind, So he wanted to think and dictate, and then he will compose just one verse which is very terse. And he dictate to Vinayaka. And Vinayaka has to think over, because it's a tough verse. And by the time, Vinayaka has to scratch his head and understand. By the time Vyasacharya composes another 100 verses or 1000 verses, I could tell that way. Mahabharata has 1 lakh verses. I don't know, in just he by dictation, composing and dictation simultaneously, must have been thought after giving this tough verse to him, I must be composing several verses at a time. Anyway, and so this is how such kind of verses in between Vyasacharya used to give. And then Vinayaka has to think a lot. By the time Vyasacharya gets a time to compose. or to have a coffee, whatever, I don't know. So, well, definitely. So, such shlokas are called Granthi shloka. Granthi. And Granthi means a knot, K-N-O-T. And therefore, Granthi shloka means naughty shloka. And of the both, they are naughty, really. K-N-O-T-T-Y or N-A-U-G-H-T-Y, whatever you say. They are really naughty verses. And there are several verses in the Bhagavad Gita itself. You may find somewhere else also, but here in second chapter itself, it has already come before. The 16th verse, you know very well. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate satah, ubayorupi drishtontaha, anayos tattadarshipihi, etc., etc. And therefore, it is as though a very, very tough verse. And how can you know, Swamiji, it is tough? How can you say that it is a naughty verse? Well, because Bhashyam also is very big. So Bhashyakara requires a lot of, he has to spend a lot of time in order to explain. That shows it is really a tough verse. And well, of course, in the fourth chapter also, recently only Swami Vidyatatmanji has explained, if you remember, Karmanya karmayah pashyet, karmani cha karmayah, before few, I think, in one of our Gita sessions, that Swamiji took that verse. Karmanya karmayah pashyet, akarmani cha karmayah, one who sees action in inaction and sees inaction in action, and he is a wise person. With such a contradiction, is considered as a wise person. In ninth chapter also it is like that. And that masthani sarva bhutani, nachaham teshu avasthitah, nacha masthani bhutani, etc., etc. And that is also, you can take it even that the person who has this vision. What is that? Masthani sarva bhutani, all the living beings are in me. I'm sorry. They are not in me. I am not in them, they are not in me. Maharaj, you just said that all the living beings are in me, and now you are saying they are not in me. What is this? And one who understands this is a wise person, again. Well, anyway. So, as though Bhagavan himself is contradicting himself like that. But anyway, so such naughty verses are there in between. Second chapter we have 2, and the fourth chapter and the ninth chapter, etc. So, anyway, so this is, of course, we have seen. But then after that there is a simple verse, and that is our verse number, verse number 70, I'm sorry. And so here, Jnani is compared to this ocean. And what is the glory of this ocean? It is ever full. So it is Purnam. So we can have a dry rivers, like the rivers you find in India, especially in Gujarat. There are in the west, in the central region of the Gujarat and in the northern region of the Gujarat, in the Saurashtra region, etc. So many rivers are there, but they become full also and they become dry also. Even we call it as a river, but you find the children are playing cricket there when they are dry. And some slum colony, would be built over there. Anyway, so only in the monsoon you find they are full. Otherwise, and that too sometime, of course, monsoon fails, they will not be full also. But there are chances. Well, the river becomes full, and so rivers are not always full. Unlike the ocean, they are full and dry also. Similarly, tanks also, wells also, they get overflown, they get full, even tanks also. And but the glory of ocean is that it is ever full. Apuryamanam, Bhagavan says. Apuryamanam means it is full, ever full, and it is independently full. It does not depend upon rain, etc. for the fullness. Its purnatvam, its fullness does not depend upon any external factors. That's how Bhagavan has chosen this example of a ocean to compare with the wise person. So rivers do not fill up ocean, rains also do not fill up ocean, and rivers may claim that we are pouring ourselves into you and therefore you are full. But suppose a river ocean dialogue is there. Well, it goes on, then river says that because of us, we are flowing into you and therefore you are full. What ocean will say? Ocean will just simply laugh. It won't argue. Ocean will not argue. Ocean will simply just smile. And because ocean knows that the very river is born of me alone, From me alone water has been evaporated, and because of me alone the clouds are formed, because of me the rains pour, and because of me alone these rivers are formed, and then rivers are entering into me. So I do not depend upon the rivers, rivers depend upon me. And therefore the Bhagavan of course is giving example of this for the wise person. This ocean, it has two glories. One is fullness and other is it is independent. It is not depending upon rain, it is not depending, ocean is not depending upon rain, not depending upon river, etc. It always is full. So river's arrival also does not bother the ocean. River's non-arrival, or let's say even going in terms of water, evaporating, also does not disturb the ocean. They, in the Bodhisara there is a beautiful verse. Agate swagatam kuryat, gachantam na nivarayet. Agate swagatam kuryat. 1 minute. Agate swagatam kuryat. When the agate sati, when someone arrives, okay, you have come, you want to come, come. You want to go, go. I mean, you are not dependent upon. Basically, not dependent upon. Here the ocean, of course, we are talking about. So, and even the quality of water, rivers also, ocean is not dependent upon. Ganga also enters the ocean. Yamuna is the most polluted river in India. Now, of course, because of thanks to pandemic, it has improved on its own. They had, government has a plan of I think 500 crores, or they wanted to spend on this Yamuna for the, cleaning the water, make it pollution free. Some thousands and thousands of crores they are spending. But well, see the Ishvara, he has done it without anything. Anyway, but so there are polluting rivers also, and there are other rivers also. All, of course, Ganga was also polluted, but now situation is improved. It's amazing, even though, in fact, honestly speaking, the rain does one job, cleaning everything, factory effluents and all kind of dirt ultimately goes to the river, and from river it goes to the ocean. All kinds of things. Even the sewage, after they do some treatment, etc., they say, but still that water is a different kind of a water. So ultimately they discharge everything in the river, and from river it goes to the, when the rain falls and then the rivers become full, everything goes to the ocean. So every year so much of dirt goes to ocean. Ocean is the only place where it's a destination for all kinds of impurities to go. Still you find that in ocean lots of creatures are living, and you don't find the ocean has become totally polluted, etc. And therefore it does not get polluted easily. So that way also we can say that all this pollution, etc., even though water pollution, etc., even if though they go into the ocean does not get polluted easily. Same way, this is an example. Jnani's mind also is like an ocean, is ever full. Its fullness is not because of some family condition. It's not because of somebody admires, and it is not because somebody respects. It is not because somebody obeys. So, that is a river mind. River's mind is like this. I am happy because my children obey me. I am happy because so and so people admire me. And for how many days, children will obey you? Like, this is just a question. Until the children grow, they obey you. But afterwards, the moment they are grown, they change their attitude, and then I am shattered. So, only two things are there. The people who have a mind of river, two things are there. Get flattered or either shattered. So, these two things are only there. A third thing is not there. So, sometimes get flattered and sometimes get shattered. Anyway, the moment they become independent, these children, etc., I am shattered. Somehow, parents want that they always obey you. So they remain like children. And I want them to be permanently as though dependent upon me. And that is not going to happen. And then definitely parents feel shattered. So our minds are basically like a rivers. So all the jnanis have their mind is like a well or a river or a tank. They are never full, and if they are full, then they are dependent on external factors. Temporarily they are full, like rivers are full temporarily in monsoon, etc. Same way, these samsaris' minds are full in certain conditions only, whereas jnani's mind is purnam all the time. And that's how even in the situation where external situations are not so conducive. That's how Bhagavan has, if you remember, Bhagavan has told manapa manayos tulyaha tulya mitrari pakshayoho, etc., etc., samadukha sukha swasthaha samaloštashma kanchanaha shubha parityagi, etc., etc., several places in a manam and apmanam and shubham and ashubham. Shubham means a favorable situation, and ashubham means unfavorable situation, etc., etc. We saw in that second chapter, also in the previous verses. If you remember the verse 57, yes sarvatra anubhisneha tattat prapya shubha shubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. So success comes, failure comes, and he is always equal. He is a samaha. He has equanimity of the mind. That's for to compare his equanimity of the mind and to show its fullness, Bhagavan has given a simpler example here, an example of ocean. Ignorant people's minds are like rivers, or like a tank, or like etc. Like a well, so they get full sometime, and then they get dry also. Whereas ocean is ever full all the time. Now look at the shloka. In the first example, is described that samudram. Samudram means ocean. Apuryamanam. So ever full, independently full, not dependent on a river, not dependent on rain. Achala pratishtham. Chalanam means, it's a disturbance. So achala pratishtham means ever remain undisturbed by the arrival or departure of water. Arrival of the water through rivers, departure of water through evaporation, etc. It does not, you won't find its surface has become less or more, etc. It's level. It doesn't, you won't find that way. So ever steady, ever magnanimous, ever peace, ever full, ever undisturbed. So, and this great ocean, apaha pravishanti, so varieties of the rivers enter the ocean, polluted, unpolluted, and big rivers, small rivers, all enter into them. And even in all these situations, events happen, samudra is purnam, fullness, all these things happen or does not happen. Rivers come, rivers do not come, or they pour water, they don't pour water, or a lot of evaporation. Any situation, you will find the ocean always full. So this is the example. And then Bhagavan says, Yah kamaha pravishanti. So Jnani's mind, as we have compared with ocean, in which kamaha pravishanti. Their waters enter. Here kamaha. Kamaha means our sense objects. Two meanings are there, and they both, we have to take as per the context. Right? So kamaha means a desire of a sense object. And kamaha also means a sense object itself, not desire, just a sense object. But here we have to take sense objects. So, because pravishanti, so sense object, desire don't enter. Kamaha pravishanti means sense objects enter through the sense organs. So kama refers to sensory experiences, sense objects. They enter. What kind of a kama? We know very well. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasagandha, all kind of objects enter. And it is very true. Like Shabda enters, in the form of the words of admiration. Oh, you are wonderful, like to a wise person. A person may say, you are wonderful, etc. Or somebody censures the wise person also. So either way. And sparsha, and then Shabda, sparsha, rupa, varieties of the forms, they also may enter through sense objects. Because the eyes and everything, ultimately sense organs are open. And he is also, he has his prarabdha, and therefore He is transacting in the world, etc., and therefore his sense organs are open, and varieties of the sense objects enter, and of course organ of taste also is open, means it is there, and the varieties of the sense objects in terms of taste also they may enter, and certain things he may like, certain things he may not like, etc. But still his fullness is never, it is always undisturbed. So don't think that this, sometimes we feel that like all the sense objects happen and therefore there is no response, kind of a thing, from a wise person. That if no one respond, the person does not respond any kind of a thing, then he is a wise person. You don't think that way. He will respond. He will respond also, but he knows that no object can give me happiness. Even though these are all sense objects, but no object can give me happiness or unhappiness, because he is awake to his own nature, real nature. Really speaking, a wise person does not require an effort to make his mind, ever full all the time. Just because he is aware of his own nature, all these things do not bother entering, sensory experiences, etc. He does not get perturbed at all with that. So, even though a particular object which he likes in terms of a taste, suppose, enters, he experiences it. He experiences that object, and he may express even the happiness also, but he is very sure that that object is basically does not give happiness. His own fullness manifesting that situation. And he has not even, honestly speaking, he doesn't think that way also. Because he is now sthita prajna. He is not that just in the initial stages. His knowledge is well assimilated now, that I am fullness. And therefore such a clarity is there, and therefore all these objects enter does not make any difference to him. They enter, they don't enter, does not make any difference to his fullness. Like rivers enter or they don't enter, either they evaporate in terms of water, still fullness of the ocean is not at all affected. Same way here. So world of sense object, pravishanti kamaha. So all this world of sense objects, pravishanti, they enter where? His mind, which is like ocean, full mind of a jnani. And then what is the condition of his mind? So shanti mapnoti, he enjoys an unruffled mind, a full mind, a poised mind. He enjoys all the time. Na kama kami. So we have to supply. Kama kami hi na shanti mapnoti. That we have to add this much. Kama kami means the ignorant person, who is heavily dependent on the external factors. He is a kama kami. And is heavily dependent on people, seekers. We are seekers of external approvals. Like even you can understand, I'm just giving an example, after buying some new dress, and we constantly ask to all family members, is it good or not? Is it good or not? Why should you ask? You have bought, you liked it, and then definitely you wear it. But you used to ask, and a new dress means definitely you have kept for some occasion. And or new jewelry, let's say. Maybe a dress also, sari also maybe there, but new jewelry. And then you wear it and you go in the function. And then when you go, and you keep in such a way that people will take a note of it. People may take a note, but people sometimes they don't ask. Then you go up and down, you go here and there, and generally you may not say that how are you, but when you wear a new sari and new jewelry and all, you go from your side and meet the people. How are you? And he never heard there is only a seeking is there. What? Approval. Approval for what? Approval for that jewelry, approval for the sari. And not only approval for the sari plus the person. Oh, you look so beautiful. That's really good. From where did you buy? When did you buy? Etc. etc. And you feel, fullness within you. So this is kama kami. Kama kami is ignorant person who seeks external approval for the fullness. Who depends upon the fullness on an external factor. River depends, definitely. Well depends. tank depends on external factor called rain, etc., monsoon. So definitely this is na kama kami shanti mapnoti, naturally. His mind will never be a poised mind. And so, so this person, wise person, is neither flattered nor shattered. This kama kami means this ignorant person is all the time either shattered or flattered. People tell for various reasons. People admire you for various reasons, but you take it on face value that it is definitely they are really admiring you. Anyway, so and the wise person's mind is, has that equanimity. We have seen that and earlier also. So this is a second example of a ocean. Wise person's mind is like a ocean, and ignorant person's mind is like a river, etc., or tank or well, etc. And this shloka is really worth remembering, because once in a while we may also get a doubt that whether I am a jnani, I am in a jnani category or ajnani category. You may feel so. So you have been listening to Gita because for several years now, and of course you ask a teacher also sometime that Swamiji whether I am a jnani or ajnani. For it's very difficult to answer for even a Swami. But you can ascertain yourself. There is a litmus test. In chemistry they used to have a litmus test, whether it's a acid or base or etc., or it's a neutral. So same way, this shloka will definitely is a litmus paper, which will definitely tell you in which category you are, and that you can understand very well when somebody admires you or somebody criticizes you, what happens to you. Do you get shattered? Do you get flattered? Then definitely we are in the category of ajnana. And if we don't, well, then God's grace, well, then we are basically we have a wisdom. Wisdom, of course, is the wisdom in terms of the assimilation of the knowledge. We have it. Let's go to verse 71. Vihaya kamanyas sarvan umam sharati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantimati gacchati. Vihaya, having given up, V plus ha dhatu. So, and it's a participle, of course, and indeclinable participle, potential participle. Having given up, swat, sarvan kaman, all the sense objects, saha puman, that person, that wise person, yaha charati, who moves. How he moves? Nispruhaha, without any craving, nirahankaraha, without the notion of I, and nirmamaha, without the notion of mine. Well, if he moves around, adhigacchati shantim, he enjoys the peace of the mind. And this peace is the peace of the mind. This peace will never turn into pieces. Definitely, he is enjoying the peace. That's his nature. Once you know that you are peace, even if you want that, if you do sankalpa that I want to be now agitated, you cannot. Really. If your knowledge is assimilated, well assimilated, then definitely, because it's the nature of Atma ultimately. And therefore, Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vigneya, in Mandukya Upanishad it is said. Shantam Shivam, so I am basically silence. That's my nature. We have seen in some of the meditations also. Oh, somebody. Anyway, so having given up all sense objects, that person who moves without craving and without the notion of I and mine enjoys the peace. A description of a wise person. I told you from verse 69 onwards, the 4 verses are. It's a description of a wise person. So Bhagavan continues with the topic of this jnani state of the mind. So from this it is clear that any mystic, so anywhere in the description of a wise person we have never talked about any mystic experience. So so any mystic experience is not a moksha, But enjoying a poised mind alone is a moksha. And this poised mind is just, it's not totally unknown to us. We do have a poised mind when we deal with neighbor's problem or deal with others' problem. We have it. So if somebody asks what is Jivan Mukta, we know partially what kind of even we also know the description of a Jivan Mukta. So everyone knows with regard to, the neighbor's problem, we are Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means what? Well, definitely, we, in our heart of hearts, we are not upset while solving others' problem. That much sure. And it happens so that neighbors has some problem, they will take your advice because they know you are very objective. You are Jivan Mukta, you are a wise person. And when you have a problem, well, definitely you call the neighbor because you find he is objective. And so you take his advice. And he also solves the problem objectively, in heart of hearts, without getting upset, without getting disturbed. But if the way you solve the neighbor's problem, if you can solve the problems in your life or not solve, when the problem arises, you have the same attitude, like a attitude towards the neighbor's problem, the same attitude you have towards your problem, then you are Jivan Mukta. If you have that kind of objectivity towards your problems also, means problems occur in your life, then, well, you are Jivan Mukta. This is a description of Jivan Mukta. So that is how, it's a known, what we want to convey is that Jivan Mukta's state of mind is a known state of mind. There is nothing here we can call here as something mystic. There is nothing mystic here. It's a known state of the mind to us. Only thing is that state of mind, while solving others' problem, etc., objectivity is there, that undisturbed condition is there of the mind, that is there, and that state of mind comes and goes. When the problem arises in our life, that, same objectivity doesn't remain, and therefore, so that state comes and goes. In the case of Jnani, it is persistent. All the time, he is objective. So Bhagavan describes Yaha Puman Sarvan Nispruhaha. Puman means this person, Jnani, is the one who is Nispruhaha, not dependent on external factors to be happy. So he does not reject them, not that he physically renounces them, he handles all of them, he enjoys all those relationships, but he is not attached or dependent. And you might be having that question, he tries to solve the problem. You may feel that, he must be solving all the problems and he needs favor or something. No, not at all. The way you and me fail in solving problems, sometimes we become we remain unsuccessful. He also remains unsuccessful. In several tasks he begins, all Loka Sangraha, he begins several things in his life. Don't think that in all this kind of a task he will be successful. No way. Several of his projects will fail. Several. Maybe sometimes it happens that many projects fail. Whatever he does, for the society, of course, Loka Sangraha. Many projects he starts and he puts a lot of effort also. You and me see that Swamiji is putting a lot of effort. And yet you find that project does not succeed. You know very well these things are happening. And therefore, but you and me get disturbed totally. In our heart of heart, because we can't remain so objective to the situations in our own life. And but he remains unperturbed. And not that after that, okay, in my life, this may be the prarabdha. Whatever I start there and remains unsuccessful, okay, then let me sit down and just teach. No. Till the end of the life, he keeps on putting new projects. He's just not bothered, not disturbed at all that these projects are failing one after the other, and then considering himself as unsuccessful, having a very, very bad prarabdha, etc., and therefore let me drop everything. Let the people will do the welfare on their own. Why should I bother, etc., etc., let me teach, just teach. He keeps on doing. You will find that in all wise people's lives, you will see it. That shows that they are not dependent at all on the external situation. Shubha Shubha Parityagi. Shubham also can occur, Mangalam can occur, or Ashubham can also occur. Favorable, unfavorable, success, failure are there. Prarabdha will bring. Prarabdha will bring and bring both kind of situation. No one in this world till today has born who has not faced both the types of situation, who has all the time very favorable. No one, including Avatar. And therefore, we wish it's one thing. You may wish anything, all the success all the time. But and that is our wish when turns into insistence. More the insistence, more the chance of depression. If you insist that I should not get such and such situation, or I should get such and such situation, such and such person, such and such object, if you keep on insisting, though you will be vulnerable to the depression, vulnerable to this kind of a shattering in your life. This person takes objectively his own situation. We take our neighbor's situations objectively. Very nicely we solve, like a wise person. And we sometimes add Gita shlokas also, because we know. And therefore we tell also. So, and then we slowly tell also, why don't you also attend the class? Because then you can, you can also become like me. They want to convey that in the inverted commas. But when in our life problem comes, we call him for consultation. And therefore he understands that this is all just a pep talk anyway. So, what I'm saying is these situations keep on coming, and as long as such things like, in relationship, in other things I can talk about a relation. So, he handles, any situation he physically will not renounce also, he handles all of them. He enjoys all those relationships also, but he is not attached or dependent. And you might have seen all these wise people have so many, relationship with so many people, and don't think they enjoy a very good relationship with all the people. There are several issues, psychological issue arises from the people to the wise person. Several psychological issues, even more than transfers. There are other issues also. So as long as such things, and relationship is available, well, that is his mind. It's wonderful. Well, if those things are not available, but I may like to continue the relationship, even though the other person sometimes breaks the relationship. Well, so because relationship depends on two people, so the wise person may love to have the relationship with all the other people. The particular person may break that I don't want. This person is not wise person, etc., etc. Whatever his thinking is. And so nowadays, even a divorce also has become a very big problem. The husband does not want, then wife wants to have a divorce. Or sometimes wife does not want and husband wants a divorce. And the psychologists tell this break, between the two people, especially this husband-wife, is a very shattering experience, which is very difficult to get over afterwards also. So one of the biggest trauma is this, when they get separated. Because ultimately relationship requires two people, and therefore as long as I depend upon another person for in relationship, there is this kind of a risk will be eternal. It will be there. So, but the wise person is one, in any relationship, he has this understanding. What? I am ready to love the other person, but I don't want to depend upon other person to love me. That's what his understanding is. And if the other person loves me, wonderful. If he does not like my nose, etc., wise person won't think like that, but other people may think. So some people don't like other person because they don't like the nose. Some people do not like somebody's hair. And therefore, there are thousands and thousands of ways person can hate other person. So anyway, the look of the person sometimes may become very important. And that's why anyway, the beauty parlors are coming all over. And previously, females were very, very aware of the beauty. But now, I find even the men are also very much bothered about their look, etc. And the teeth alignment and these and the haircut and whatnot. Anyway, what I want to convey is this kind of an attitude of a wise person we should develop. That, and what is the attitude? If other person loves me, it's fine and good, but I am ready to love the other person. Whether he loves me, I don't want to depend upon the other person that he should love me, but I am ready to love the person. That's a wonderful thing. Then I don't think there will ever be a conflict. Other person loves me for infinite reasons. I don't have any reason to love other person. I just love. I love the other person because, no. Other person loves me because I like his nose or I like his this. Infinite reasons to love. Where this person loves unconditionally. Anyway, so this is how it is regarding a wise person. So this is Jnani and Nispruhaha, not seeking anything from others. Kaman sarvan vihaya, sense objects, or giving up the dependence on the sense objects, not giving up the sense objects. You can understand very well it is impractical to say giving up the sense objects. Sense objects only run the life. So giving up the dependence on sense objects, other than, for the body, of course, there is a dependency, but he does not feel dependency because he is not the body. He knows that I am not the body. So he has a total detachment towards the sense objects. And Nispruha San, we have to write San. Being like this, he moves in the world. Charati. Yaha Charati. He moves around. And of course, other two things are also said about him. Nirmamaha, Nirahankaraha. Ahankara means without body identification. So he does not even depend upon the body because body is born out of 5 elements and the body depends upon the 5 elements for the survival, and any time this body will be claimed by the 5 elements. So where he finds that there are claimants, he gives up his claim because the claimant is very strong. Ishvara is a claimant basically, and therefore he does not have any identification or dependence on even the body. Body identification is called ahankara. Nirahankara means free from that identification. And nirmamaha, then no ownership also. Ownership comes when you have ahankara. When you say I am a body, then the things which are related to this body, for which I will have a ownership also. So nirmamaha means without any ownership, because basically I don't own anything in the world. I may use, of course, I do not, this is, I only temporarily use the things which are available to me in the world. And you know the ownership, Puja Swami's example, ownership of a flat, ownership of a flat, very costly flat in Mumbai, and then Swamiji goes on analyzing and then find this wall is a common wall to the neighbor and this and that, and so just a space. And in between, you are owner of the space, and of course you are not owner of the space. Ishvara is the owner of the space. He only created 5 elements, and therefore where is ownership? Where is ownership? So when ownership of the flat turns flat, definitely means that it does not have a place. So he doesn't have ownership. He's awake to the realities. Nirahankara means I am not the body is a reality. It's a reality. If I am the body, etc., and then I am an owner of the body also, then body will always be taking a command from you. It obeys you, but it doesn't obey you. Even don't think that I am talking about a death. In other conditions also, you want body to be all the time cooperative to you, should remain healthy, etc., and you find that it doesn't remain healthy. You don't want blood pressure, and there is a blood pressure. You don't want diabetes, and then there is a diabetes. You don't want any kind of heart attack, and the person may get heart attack. You don't want kidney problems may arise. You have seen people that they are suffering when they get kidney problem, and they have seen what kind of a dialysis and all. It's very painful, all this you have seen. So you pray also to Ishvara that please, I don't want this kind of situation. But you may land up. You means any person. Any person may land up into this. And therefore, that shows that ownership to the body, or telling it body as a I, is just a notion. The fact is that it does not belong to me. And therefore, nirahankaraha, nirmamaha. You may have for a worldly transaction or worldly purpose, worldly sake, you may have ownership, papers, etc. That's not wrong thing. But in the mind, you are sure that you don't own anything. Even this physical body also you cannot own, because nature takes it back. So, and nature takes it back whenever nature wants to take it back. Not that whenever you want to take it back. That is what is happening. Even in old age, you want that now I don't want this body. So you pray every day, take away, take away, take away. But he doesn't take away. So definitely, when I cannot claim as body as a mind, how can I claim the things which are around related to the body? And therefore, Jnani remembers that I am not the body and nothing belongs to me. And when you have this kind of an attitude, all the burden goes. All the burden is burden of this mamakara and ahankara. The I sense in the body and the sense of mind, etc. in the other objects. So, he has given up the burden. He is very light now. He travels light. Yaha charati. He travels light now. So with this attitude, one who enjoys these things as they are available, sa shanti madhigacchati. There is no burden. So there is shanti. He enjoys the life thoroughly now. And Krishna gives the last verse now of this discourse. Esha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sthitva syamanta kalepi brahma nirvana mricchati. O Partha, O Arjuna, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi, Esha, this Brahmi Sthitihi, I translate like Brahmi Sthiti. Right now, we'll see that. Esha Brahmi Sthitihi, this Brahmi Sthiti, Prapya Enam, having attained this, Na Vimuhyati, one who is not deluded, Sthitva Api. Sthitva Api means being established in this, Antakale, even at the time of death, Ruchyati Brahma Nirvanam, Ruchyati, Prapnoti. Ruchyati Brahma Nirvanam, he attains oneness he gains the oneness with the Brahman. Means, oh Arjuna, this is called Brahmi Sthiti, this is called Sthira Prajna. This is called assimilation of knowledge. Having attained this, one is not deluded, being established in this even at the time of death, he attains or he gains this oneness with the Brahman. So this is what the translation is. And Bhagavan states that the state of mind is basically born out of thorough understanding of the Vedanta. Without Vedanta Jnana, without Atma Jnanam, we cannot accomplish this kind of a state of a mind. So that is why he is called Sthira Prajna. And therefore this state of mind, this perspective of the world, born of this clear knowledge of who am I, is described in how many verses? You remember verse number 12 to verse number 25. We should all the time revise. If you also want to be a wise person and we want to enjoy the life, then those verses we have to revise again and again. The entire Gita foundation I can tell is these few verses, verse number 12 to verse number 25, where the description of Atma, of course, Atma Jnanam is there. And based on that knowledge, of course, and he has assimilated that knowledge and he enjoys that state of mind, which is called Brahmi Sthitihi, or otherwise called Sthira Prajna. He is he has a Jivan Mukti, you can say. So Esha Brahmi Sthitihi Partha, and this is the Brahmi Sthiti. And what is this glory of him? Enam Prapya. Enam means this, Prapya, gaining that. So, Enam Prapya, gaining this state of the mind, na vimuhyati, he is no more deluded. Once a person attains this state of the mind, afterwards there is no fall back into samsara, moha will not occur again, delusion will not occur again, there are no more conflicts, we can say, in life. as Arjuna, was having in the battlefield. So Bhagavan is telling that you also are having so many conflicts right now, and therefore you are telling not to fight, etc. Even though it is Dharma Yuddha, everything, you were ready to fight, and now you are putting aside all this weapons and everything, and got deluded also. Well, if you gain this knowledge, which I have described you in verse number 12 to verse 25, if you gain it and assimilate it, how to assimilate that also Bhagavan has described in from verse number 58 to 68. And then definitely if you gain knowledge and assimilate it, then your mind also will have this kind of state of mind called Brahmi Sthiti, Jivan Mukti you can say, or assimilation of the knowledge is there, and then you also will be free from the conflicts which you are facing right now in this battlefield. So until Jnanam comes, these conflicts are inevitable. That's what now very clearly we can also tell. So to do or not to do, to fight, not to fight, to be or not to be, to marry, not to marry. So many conflicts, several. In fact, every stage we have questions, we have delusions. Such kind of conflict-free mind, this person is enjoying. We call Brahmi Sthiti. And not only that, Asyam Sthitva, where he enjoys that state of mind called Jivan Mukti. And how long it will be, he will have that kind of a sthiti. So long as he lives in this world, so long as the prarabdha is there, he will have that Brahmi Sthiti. What will happen to when prarabdha will be over, exhausted? Well, at the time of death, what will happen to him? Bhagavan says, Antakale api Brahma Nirvanam Ruchyati. Well, he will attain Videha Mukti or merger into Param Brahma. So, which means he will not have any new Janma. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, that cycle, he is not having that kind of a cycle because he is free from the samsara, free from the delusion. And what happens then? Actually, the Sthula Shariram and Sukshma Shariram, both, and the Karana Shariram, all the three bodies merges into totality. In the case of ignorant person, physical body of course merges in and gets destroyed, merges into elements, merges into total elements, but the other two bodies travel, that is the subtle body and the causal body. Whereas in the case of Jnani, the other two bodies also merge. That's a technical explanation of this Brahma Nirvanam Ruchyati. But for our simple knowledge, we can say Brahma Nirvanam means freedom from Punarjanma. Actually, Brahma Nirvanam means basically, Nirvanam means merger. Merger into Brahman is called Brahma Nirvanam. Merges into Brahman, Param Brahma. Means all these bodies, etc. also at the time of death, of course, merges. Gross body merges into gross elements, subtle body merges into subtle elements, and causal body merges into Maya, the Samashti. Causal body is a Vashti. So, but then all his karma, that's what we say, it all goes back to Avyaktam, unmanifest. So, basically, this Brahma Nirvana means freedom from Punarjanma. He is one with the Lord, we can say, which is otherwise called Videha Mukti. And Bhagavan says, for this freedom, you can attain knowledge at any time. Antakale api, even at the time of death. I mean, you can get the knowledge as a youth, as a middle-aged person, or even during the fag end of the life. You get this, if you get this knowledge, you will be free. Moksha is assured. So, with the Jivan Mukti and this Videha Mukti, Bhagavan concluded this Sthita Prajna topic, which is the final topic of this chapter. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayah. Om Tat Sat Iti. Iti. Lastly, we have to say this much. Om Tat Sat. Whatever we have said, that. Tat means that. Whatever we have said is Sat, is Param Brahma. Whatever words I have uttered, even I am talking right now about me. In chapter 2, I might have uttered maybe millions of words. All the final meaning of every word is Sat. Everything is established. Every, word of, meaning of every word is Sat, ultimately. Ultimately. So, Om Tat Sat. What is the essence of entire chapter? Om Tat Sat. Therefore, that is the reality. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. Srimad Bhagavad Gita su, Bhagavad Gita su, why should you say? But anyway, so Bhagavan is telling because Upanishatsu, because every chapter is a Upanishad, and we have seen that the entire chapter what we have discussed, and if you are aware of the Upanishad, the subject matter of the Upanishad, you can tell very well. Even in fact, more than Upanishad has been described here. So many things has been described. Upanishad has no description of a wise people like this. And what are the sadhanams to get a wisdom, etc. That also is not there. Of course, Atma Jnanam is there, Jiva Brahma Aikyam is there. That is, we have already discussed in from verse 12 to 25. But apart from it, Karma Yoga discussion and this discussion, what not? More than Upanishad. So that is how Upanishad has maybe topic of Brahma Vidya, but this has two topics. Brahma Vidya, Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means Karma Yoga, etc. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam, every chapter is Upanishad, and therefore we are using plural. Bhagavad Gita, even though is one, but in all the Bhagavad Gitas, which are nothing but the Upanishads, like that they say, means all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. What are the topics? Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastre. Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, well, which is in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, Bhagavan and the Guru and Shishya. Sankhya Yoga Nama, this is a Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means basically the main topic is Sankhya Yoga, Atma Jnanam. We have seen also how it is called Sankhya. Sankhya Yoga Nama, Dvitiyaha Adhyaya. This is the second chapter. Now, this is, I have completed in these 2 days, I think tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I will give you the summary of the entire chapter. And then from Monday we will start Panchadashi from chapter 1. This is our plan. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.